Fair Play just dropped on Netflix, and let me just say, it's one of the best movies of the year.
Become my god. You give me this opportunity, I will give you everything I got.
Welcome back everyone to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Before we get into this review, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. But I'm going to be reviewing Fair Play, which just hit Netflix on Friday. This review is coming out a little bit late because I had a busy schedule and I just had to write up this review because I do want to talk about this movie a lot, because as I said in the intro, it is one of the best movies of the year, and we've had some very great movies this year, some really bad ones, but I gotta say this one is edging into that top 10. Fair Play takes us into the film where an unexpected promotion at a cutthroat hedge fund pushes a newly engaged couple's relationship to the brink. And yeah, that is the kind of small synopsis for this film that I found on Google. I think that's the best thing that I could tell you guys, because I don't really want to spoil too much of what happens in this film, even though it's not really a spoiler type of movie. I think there are some details that I want to leave for you guys when you go watch it, because I do think you all should go watch this film. But I will say before we get into it, it is a hard R film. Includes a lot of sexual and explicit activities and content with some pretty vulgar language going on. If you're not comfortable with that kind of stuff and you're not like of age to watch this like hard R stuff, then I would say to stay away from the film. But if you're fine with watching this stuff, then I will say it is worth it. It's worth it. You know, it's really worth it to get through kind of all that stuff. You're not comfortable with it. It's an awesome film. It explores so many different dynamics in the workplace, gender dynamics. We're going to get really into that. But man, I really did have a good time with this one. I loved it from start to finish. It's fast paced and the story is really captivating. You're really in it. And Netflix, you know, they've kind of been disappointing me lately with their movies, but since this one is from Sundance, it's a film festival movie, it is really damn great, and I'm happy that they acquired it, but I'm also mad at the same time because I didn't get to watch in theaters, which I'm really disappointed about. When I can't watch a movie as great as this in theaters, it gets me kind of sad, because I love watching movies in the theaters because it makes me want to go back and back to the theater and go watch it, because that's the only place you can watch it is in the theater. If it's on streaming, you can like push it off for so long because you know it's at your house, you know it's on your TV. But man, I'm gonna have to go watch this one again, maybe 2 more times, because it's so great. I really did love what was going on in this film. But let's get to the cast. We have 2 major players basically in this cast, so I'm only gonna really talk about them, but I will say the supporting characters did do great. But there's not really too many supporting characters in this film. It's basically about this just one couple and their basically power struggle, power dynamic during this whole movie. And Phoebe Dynevor, I think that's how you say her name, she plays Emily. And honestly, when I first watched the trailer for this film, I didn't really know her because I don't really think I've seen her in anything, but she did look familiar, and I didn't know what she looked familiar in because I looked her up after watching the movie, and literally nothing on her like resume or what she's worked in I've seen her in. I've never seen any of her movies or TV shows. I saw that she was in Bridgerton, but I've never seen that show. I don't know if I'll ever watch it, but it's a very popular show, so maybe I saw a couple pictures online and that's how I know her. But she did look so familiar. Maybe she looks like another actress, but maybe that's just me. But she's not really in a lot of big movies. But after this, I think that she's going to get a lot of calls, and I think she deserves to be in a lot of films because her performance in here was so fearless, and it was like one of my favorite performances by an actress this year, because I don't have a lot of really favorite actress performances this year. I'm kind of waiting for those to come in with like Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things Going On, Anatomy of the Fall. But Viola Davis is also pretty strong. But I think this might be my favorite performance by an actress this year. She was so damn amazing in this. I was stunned by how great she was on this. And she was going against really another great actor in this who we'll get to next. But she really went for it all. As I said, she was fearless. And she really just like it's a lot of loud performances, so it's kind of hard for a lot of actors to really give these very loud performances in this couple kind of way if you're not really if you don't really have a lot of like compassion for this role, or you really read into it a lot. But she really went for this role and she really brought it all, which I really loved. I really loved her performance a lot, and she was fantastic, and I really need to see her in more movies because I just thought she was amazing in this role. And she is kind of dealing with a lot in this film as you kind of watch it. Her character is dealing with a lot in this film, a lot of good, a lot of bad you'll see, but it gets really intense with her character. But our second lead is Alden Ehrenreich, who plays Luke, and I gotta say, isn't he having a great year so far? Alden Ehrenreich, he's kind of going under the radar a little bit because he was in Solo the Han Solo movie with him in the lead. And I gotta say, right from that movie, I was like, he's a really good Solo, and he's gonna be in a lot, and he was in a lot. This year, he was in Cocaine Bear, and he gave a really good supporting performance in that film. He was hilarious. I loved it. The film as a whole wasn't that great. I did kind of find it really funny. And he was also in Oppenheimer this year. We all know he was in Oppenheimer. He was basically playing off against Robert Downey Jr., and he did amazing playing off of him. I'm like, how do you play off a legend like Robert Downey Jr. like that? But I don't know. He's just really doing well this year. 2 supporting performances, and this is basically his big leading performance this year, and he brought it all. Just like Phoebe Dynevor, she brought it all, and he brought it all. He is giving some really fantastic performances, and I don't think he's getting a lot of recognition for them because a lot of people don't really know who he is, and he kind of plays the jealous and angry, like, type man in Fair Play. And I think that this role really worked for him because he's a loud performer if you watch something like Cocaine Bear, but he also can give a subtle performance. As you saw in Oppenheimer, a lot of those lines were pretty subtle, and he was given a small performance there. And I will say his character is pretty intense in the latter half of the film. Like, he is really intense, and he really runs for it all. His character, I would say, if I was going to describe him kind of in a non-spoiler type of way, he's whiny. He's scary at times, but he's also stupid, but he's also kind of fearless because he does kind of stand up to the businesses in this movie and what's happening in the workplace at times. So I really did love his character, but I hated his character at the same time. That's what I kind of love about this film, is that they built these characters so you kind of hate them at times, but you kind of love them. Like, the first half, you're loving one character. Second half, you're really loving another character. And then by the end of it, you're really not loving any of them. You're like not on any of their sides, but you still can find something to like about them in the ways that they're performing and the ways that their characters are working through these struggles. That's why I think this film is so great. I gotta say, the script of this film is really smart, really captivating, and explored things that most movies are scared to explore these days and show audiences, which I really respected, because I think some movies just go the easy route, explore the easy things that people want to talk about, but this movie explored some pretty harsh things. Like, it takes a look at many different themes and messages. If you kind of go into this film and kind of like want to write an essay on it, you could find a lot more themes than I did. But I gotta say, it kind of works around the theme of like the stresses of working for a big corporate firm with an asshole boss that knows how to manipulate his employees and get them to do whatever they want, and no one wants to stand up for him. That's really a theme that I think in a film is done well, and it really is done well here. So I loved how they explored that. And it also explores gender dynamics, and they're talking about gender power levels in a workplace and the power between them when a promotion comes in the way. That's basically the whole film revolves around the promotion and what, like, the kind of gender dynamics of that. And it also kind of explores sexual assault and consent in a big way that I kind of liked, but I wish it kind of worked more on that, because they kind of brought that in at the end of the film. But I think it did do a good job kind of on that front. And it also deals with powerful women, which I respect, and weak men. So you're kind of dealing with both of those aspects in this film, which I really liked. I love how they can explore how powerful a woman is, bring her up, but also how weak a man is. You know, those bad types of men who are very weak and can't stand a powerful woman getting a promotion over them. I love how they explored that in this one. The direction of this film was also pretty nice. It's pretty like a low-key direction, because it doesn't like to have a lot of action scenes, a lot of battles, but there are battles between the characters, I would say, a lot of fight scenes. And it's the first major movie from the director Chloe Damont, I think that's how you say her name, and she gave some excellent direction that makes you really fear for our characters and what happens next. I would say this kind of story and direction takes you like on a journey of what you don't want to happen for the characters. Like, there was many scenes in the movie where I could kind of like see what would happen next, but some movies kind of wouldn't explore what would happen next, but this movie does. Like, you kind of see it coming, you'd be like, oh no, I hope this doesn't happen, please don't happen to my characters, and then it does happen. And it's like these scenes that hurt your characters emotionally or physically. You kind of do want these scenes to happen to really progress the plot, but you don't want these things to happen because they're kind of things that make you uncomfortable, or you kind of things that make the characters very uncomfortable, and you don't want to witness it because it just I don't know, tingles down your spine. It's such a weird thing to talk about, but the direction here was really great. So in the end, I ended up really loving Fair Play and what it brought to the table. I think Netflix has another hit on their hands, But as I said in the beginning, this is a Sundance film, so I'm happy that people actually got to see this in a festival, got to see it on the big screen. I'm getting really tired though of Netflix picking up the films and not putting them in major theater rollouts. I hate how Netflix hates theaters. Theaters are keeping the movie business kind of booming. I love theaters so much, and it kind of just makes me not happy when I saw Netflix acquire Hitman from Richard Linklater, because I've heard that people love seeing that in the theater, and I probably won't get to see it in the theater because Netflix didn't bring this one to any theaters near me, which really sucks. I really wish I could have seen this one in theaters because it was such a great watch. I would have loved to watch it a couple times in theaters, but as I said, I'll probably watch it at least 1 or 2 more times at my house. It's so great. I'm really happy that Netflix has a hit, but at the same time, I'm pretty pissed that I never got to watch it in theaters. But I think that this was a very provocative film, an erotic thriller kind of done right, and that juggled so many different themes. Every performance seemed pretty genuine and pretty powerful at times, and I really enjoyed the script and everything kind of turning in on itself. I wish the ending, though, was a little different because it kind of left me wanting a little bit more, but I will say the performances were excellent, the direction was there, and just the story as a whole moved pretty fast. I love those fast-paced movies, so overall, fair play. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Easily the best movie of the week, and easily might be one of the best movies of October. We'll see how it shapes up, but I think it's easily top 15 of the year. I really loved it a lot. Let me know, did you guys watch this one on Netflix? And if you haven't, go watch it right now. But if you have, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I really want to know what you guys thought. But if you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I upload almost every day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.